PSG have extended Mauricio Pochettino's contract for another year. They've backed him in the transfer market, and here is how I think they're going to line up next season. So first off in goal, we start with Gigi Donnarumma, a huge signing for absolutely nothing at all. He's joined on a free transfer after his contract expired at AC Milan, and he will definitely go on to be one of, if not the best goalkeeper in Europe. At the moment, he could probably lay quite a good claim to being that anyway. Despite this, they obviously do have other good players such as Sergio Rico and Keylor Navas, who was brilliant last season, but moving forward, it looks like Donnarumma is going to be the number one. Moving into the defence, and I will get into the tactical parts of this system a little later on, because I think Pochettino is going to be quite fluid in the way he sets PSG up. But the first of three defenders is Sergio Ramos. Much like with Gigi Donnarumma, they bought him in the free transfer, gave him a massive wage, and it's Sergio Ramos, for Christ's sake. Of course he's going to start. Of course he's going to be playing as many games as possible, and now PSG have another player who's going to lay claim to taking all the penalties. So if the Mbappe-Neymar argument wasn't enough, now you've got Sergio Ramos, who'll probably want to take them as well. And a few free kicks to boot. Moving on, and alongside Sergio Ramos, who I think will be on the right side of a back two/back three, will be Presnel Kimpembe. Now, I spoke last week actually on the Daily News saying that maybe Chelsea are interested in Presnel Kimpembe. There's going to be a Ramos-Marquinhos link up at the back, and Kimpembe is going to be left out. I don't think so. The French defender's absolutely brilliant. He's been so good for PSG, and he is definitely going to be one of the mainstays in this defensive unit. If not, behind him is the likes of Abdou Diallo. Now, we get in to the more interesting bit. Now, at this point, you're probably wondering, hold on, Matt, you mentioned Marquinhos. You said that Ramos and Kimpembe are going to start, so where's Marquinhos going to be? Well, I get the feeling he's going to be in the defensive midfield / middle of a back three formation. This is because, much like Mauricio Pochettino did at Tottenham, he's got one of the midfielders who can sit so deep, become part of a back three, and then allow the wing backs to fly forward and join the attack. And that is exactly what I think is going to happen. So whether or not Marquinhos does line up in the middle of the back three, like I said, or in the defensive midfield position, he is going to be in the team. He's absolutely brilliant. He's one of the most experienced players in the PSG squad, and he's captain as well. There is no way that he does not start. Right then, we move a little bit further up the pitch, and this is what I mentioned before. Especially when PSG have got the ball, Marquinhos is to drop into a back three and push the wing backs forward. Well, they've got one part of that absolutely covered indeed, to the fine tune of 60 million euros. That is how much PSG paid for Achraf Hakimi this summer, and after switching from Real Madrid to Inter just last summer, you didn't exactly expect it to be moving on so quickly, but such financial pressures at Inter Milan have meant they needed to sell, and PSG are definitely the beneficiaries of this deal. Hakimi is probably the best right wing back in Europe. He flies forward. He's that quick. He's so good on the ball. He gets involved in the assists, in the goals as well, and just generally they have got themselves an absolute baller in this right wing position. Behind him, there's also Colin Dagba, who was quite a good youngster, who made quite a few appearances last season, and like I mentioned before as well, there was also Tila Kehrer, who played a right-back, centre-back role. I don't think he's fit for the right wing-back role, though. On the other side, though, this is where it gets a little bit more interesting, and there's Juan Bernat, there's also Levan Kurzawa, who play in the left-back / left wing-back role for PSG, but this is where I'm going to throw in my brand new signing for PSG, because I think he'll make the switch and he will be unbelievable. He's pretty much the opposite of Achraf Hakimi on that left-hand side. Not only did he play for AC Milan last season while Hakimi played for Inter, but they're just so good. I think both of them as wing-backs would be fantastic. Of course, I'm talking about Theo Hernandez. Earlier on in the summer, PSG went in with a £40 million bid for the player, and AC Milan completely and utterly rejected it. Now, since then, there's been a few contract talks, and apparently word is that PSG are willing to triple his wages at AC Milan to around €5 million net per season. AC Milan can't compete with this, so they're going to have to discuss what they're going to do if Hernandez says he wants to leave. And by that, I mean they're going to have to slap a price tag on his head, and apparently they're only willing to open talks if it's anything over 60 million euros. That's the amount that was paid for Hakimi. If I was PSG, I would definitely sell quite a few players, and I mentioned Bernat and Kurzawa. Apparently they're also on this list as well, which involves loads more throughout the rest of the team. I'd get rid of them and bring in Theo Hernandez. Oh, he's brilliant. He's so good. He does exactly what Hakimi does on the other side, and that back five would be an absolute menace, both defensively and offensively. So moving into the midfield now, and PSG, this is another place where they've got quite a few squad players who are good enough to do well week in, week out in Liga, but not necessarily taken to a Champions League title. All of these squad players are also apparently available for sale for the right price. They include Idrissa Gueye, there's Sarabia in there's Ander Herrera, there's Leandro Paredes, who actually had a pretty good season last year, and Copa America as well, but they're all behind who I think are going to be the main two central midfielders this season. The first one, Marco Verratti. That one's pretty obvious. Although, having said that, Verratti does seem to be injured quite a lot. I've noticed that his league appearances have never gone over 30 per season, except for 1 year in 2014-15 where he played 32 league games. Apart from that, he's never played more than 30, and there's 38 in a Liga season. I don't know about you guys, but it doesn't exactly scream consistency, and I know he's a very good player, and on his day could be one of the best midfielders around. But surely you want someone who's going to be in the team a little bit more than that. Anyway, if he's there, fit and able, he definitely starts alongside new signing and another free signing for PSG. Wijnaldum wasn't necessarily wanted at Liverpool into his 30s, and now the 30-year-old has signed a contract with the Parisian side, and you could be expected that you'll see him in midfield. No less because Mauricio Pochettino desperately wanted the Tottenham, and now finally he gets his man, both of them at a completely different club in a different country. Of course, behind him there's also fellow Dutch midfielder Xavi Simons, who signed for Barcelona a few years ago and looks like he's ready to take the step up into the first team. Oh, and I forgot to mention as well that Rafinha is also on this apparent list that they'll accept some money for as well. And this is the main reason. Obviously, there's the Theo Hernandez deal, which I'm speculating about. But the real deal of the summer could be Paul Pogba moving. I know there's loads of talk about him leaving Manchester United, but as he enters the last year of his contract at Old Trafford, there are still rumours that PSG are going to make a move for a cut-price Pogba deal. And of course, all the players that I've mentioned that are still on the transfer list could be sold to bring in the French midfielder. If he does come in, I think you can expect to see him line up alongside Marco Verratti, but then I'm not so Wijnaldum would be so happy. So that's the decision for Pochettino to make. Anyway, the Pogba deal could be a possibility, but I'm not going to put him in this team quite yet as we move on to the attacking three. So you can see now with those back three centre-backs and the midfield four, which includes those two wing-backs either side of Verratti and Wijnaldum, we now move in to the front three. And because of those wing-backs bombing forward, it means that the two wingers can cut inside onto their favoured feet. On the right-hand side, that is Angel Di Maria. He scored the winning goal in the Copa America this summer for Argentina against Brazil, and he has been so reliable for PSG. Whenever Neymar's been injured, Di Maria seems to be the one who can step up and do the business for the club. Cutting in off that right-hand side onto his left foot, he's absolutely deadly, and some of his link-up play with fellow South American Neymar and Kylian Mbappe as well has been so good. He's so important to this team. The only thing he doesn't have on his side is the age as he gets into his early 30s. But even then, you can't deny a player like him being so good, and you can't just kick him out the squad because of that. He's still brilliant, and he's still going to do the business for Mauricio Pochettino's side. And if not him, it'll be Pablo Sarabia. Like I mentioned before, he is on this transfer list / available to move on for the right amount of money. On the left-hand side, we mentioned it before, and it's Neymar. Cutting in onto that right foot, the guy can just do absolutely everything. The definition of a game changer. His link-up play, his set pieces, his dribbling, his speed, his finishing, absolutely everything about this team screams the fact that the likes of Neymar and Di Maria will have free roles. They'll be able to come inside with the wing-backs overlapping and really just go about doing their business, creating everything that PSG need and all the chances that Kylian Mbappe needs to find the back of the net. And that leads us finally to that striker in the main role to find the back of the net, get all the goals for PSG, and it's Mauro Icardi. No, it's not really. It's Kylian Mbappe. You guys knew that, of course. There's loads of speculation about whether he's going to leave to Real Madrid this summer, next summer, some summer, whenever. As for the moment, though, it looks like Mbappe's staying in Paris, and his link up with the other two up front is so good. You can expect him to once again score a ridiculous amount of goals. Of course, if they don't have him on the pitch for whatever reason, he's resting, he's injured, this, that, and the other. They have got Mauro Icardi, who's a decent striker as well, but he's not quite Kylian Mbappe. Last season, they had Moise Kean actually on loan from Everton, but it doesn't look like he'll be rejoining the club. So Kylian Mbappe is, of course, the main man at the top of the pitch. Can this PSG team wrestle the league title back off Lille? Let me know down below, and I'll see you guys next time.